Slam the door, why don't you?
My name?
Yes.
Let me think.
Can I talk about cats? Is that okay?
Don't.
Don't.
Round two.
Hey, Mr. Madz.
Yes.
What would you like for Christmas?
World peace.
Deep.
NCTV is brought to you in part by viewers like you.
Hello, welcome to NCTV. I'm Gavin Bauer.
And I'm Aiden Foley.
And
Today we're going to be discussing elderly abuse, and we're going to be having a Brainsweat performance and a live interview with a couple school faculty members.
Hi, my name is Caleb.
I'm Chevy. Nick.
Mary.
That's a very, very vast question.
Various noise rock and punk bands and things as such. Jazz. All of it.
Probably Johnny Greenwood and Jack White. Those are probably my two biggest influences.
Throbbing Gristle and True Widow are two bands that are kind of both ends of the diaspora for myself. Honestly, our music is weird enough that anybody who's willing to listen will have you. Like, we're not picky.
I'd say that each of us brings a sense of experimentation to the band. Everybody is doing completely different things at completely different times, and I think that's kind of what makes it unique.
Well, one nice thing about the band is actually that we all have really different starting points. One of the things that I love about working with these guys and their wide amounts of influences and origins is that when we have ideas for writing a song, someone will just show up. Mary will be like, I have a bass line. Caleb will be, I have a guitar line. I have some bits. Chevy has a drum line. And then everybody goes, okay, let's see what I can do with that. And so when you're making music for Brainsweat, we don't really have a genre. It's all really weird and doesn't fit anywhere. But it's more of like we brainsweatify ideas and just see what comes out the other end of the machine. Pointless, endless philosophical debates on break. That has been one of the most lasting things that has kept our band aggressive towards each other.
The only show we've ever had a mosh pit was in a basement, and somebody put a body-sized hole in a wall during our set.
I started actually taking music seriously when I was 23, which is rather late, and I'm jealous of my peers.
14 years.
Jesus.
6 years.
10 years? I think at about 10 years.
I think we're all pretty competent on our instruments. That helps.
Speak for yourself, Chevy.
Don't stop, don't care, just play.
Practice. Legitimately, if you want to do anything, it starts with knowing what you're doing and then starting a band. I've tried doing it the other way around. Starting and then learning your shit, it don't work that way. It don't work well at all. You just practice, know what you're doing, and keep your eyes open for other like-minded individuals who you want to do stuff with.
I would say just find people to play with as soon as you can, because they're going to inspire you and convince you to keep going with it.
Just jam all the time. Jam as much as you can with as many people as you can.
Brainsweat, protect your stem, buy a sweat cap.
imagine a band being that popular in Casper.
Well, they're certainly less than popular.
Well, onward to the or the fun fact thing, whatever that is.
Hi, I'm the Fax Man, and here's the facts. Ostriches represent all birds in the human court of law. Back to you, Janet.
I feel like this is happening.
Wow, what a fact that was, if that's what we can call that. Now for a retrospective interview with these three gentlemen here. If you guys could introduce yourselves respectively down the line, that would be fantastic.
Okay, I'm Ron Estes. I'm assistant principal at NC, and Kelly Walsh, former assistant at Natrona. I'm the principal at Pathway Innovation Center.
I am Christopher Dresang. I'm one of the assistants at Natrona County High School. Before that, I was at Fort Casper Academy as their principal, and my new role in the district will be becoming Director of Student Support Services.
Good morning. My name is Lucas Dow. I'm an assistant principal at Natrona County High School.
Alrighty, so why did you gentlemen choose the education field? And we'll also go down the line for that.
Well, I think for me it was enjoying working with kids. I was a former coach and athlete, and through that realm, I guess I just enjoyed working with kids as a coach, and it carried over to being being a teacher and working actually with special ed students is where I started.
Mine was more revenge-based. I had a really horrible English teacher in high school, and when I got to Casper College, I wanted to be a police officer. And I don't know those of you who want to be a police officer, if you've taken a class with other people who want to be a police officer, and it changes your perspective on whether or not you actually want to be in criminal justice. So I had to make a different choice after meeting some of my colleagues that I'd worked with in that field. And I said, well, if that English teacher was that bad and she had a job, I can certainly do that. So I got a degree in English, and then I didn't understand that you had to actually have a degree in education to go teach. So I had to go to a program in Montana and dual teach. I got to skip student teaching, and that program is now debunked, so you can't even do that anymore. And then I really liked the idea of becoming an administrator, much in part to Ron Estes, who is a mentor of mine. He is one of the few people that I truly look up to and respect in this field. And I said, not in a revenge way like I did with the teacher, like if Ron can do it, I certainly can do this, but more of he enjoys what he does and he gets to help kids on a larger scale than I'm doing in the classroom. And so I transitioned into becoming an administrator to do that. And then now I get to work on a even larger scale and help kids more at-risk kids than anything, helping with crisis plans and nursing and counseling and really how to affect the populations in our town that really need a little bit more support to make it through the day.
The reason I got into education was I had a first grade teacher that had a significant impact on my life, and I decided that, if she had that much of an impact on me, how great would it be to continue that and try to replicate what I witnessed or experienced. Other reasons I got into education is I like the feel of a school. I like the sounds, and I just like the atmosphere. So it's been a really rewarding career for me.
So why did the three of you end up ultimately choosing NC?
Well, for me, my mom and my dad, my brother, my sister, and I all graduated from there. So I actually, as a young kid, probably about 5 years old, I started to run around NC and again, just always understood the pride that comes with being a Mustang, and so it's always been one of my goals as I entered education to how cool would it be to go back to the place that you love and are so passionate about, to go back and be a teacher or an administrator. And I was just lucky enough to come back and be a principal. So
I was super apathetic in high school and didn't really enjoy it at all. And so NC really didn't necessarily stand out as a place I always wanted to return to, but it boiled down, and I mean this in the nice way. NC, all the schools in Natrona are great, and that's probably why I'm not going to be at one of them anymore, but all of them in a figurative way. But it boiled down to an interview, and I interviewed at Kelly Walsh and killed it, and thought I was going to get a job there as an English teacher, and then had a last-minute interview at NC, and at that interview, one of the questions was along the lines of, how do you like to get to know kids? And I said, I like to get to know them outside of school. And it was as awkward as I'm making it sound now. And then I didn't let it go. They said, so how do you get to know them outside of school? And I was like, I see them around the mall or at the movies. And it sounds so bad. It sounds bad now. It was bad then. And so I left that interview with, they think I'm some kind of creeper, I won't get a job there. And they called first. So I had taken the job at NC, and then truly what made it awesome was the traditions of NC. I mean, you have families and generations of kids that have gone there, and that's passionate. And while I don't necessarily have ever experienced that because my brother went to Kelly Walsh, I have felt that, and it's fun to be a part of something like that. And so when I left to go to Fort Casper, there was an opening at NC as an administrator, working with Mr. Estes, working with a couple other individuals that I regarded highly, Larry Meebor, who has since retired, and a few others, and I could not pass the opportunity to go learn from them and work in a place that I had taught for about 5 years.
The reason I wanted to work at NC is just, I've only been in leadership for about 2 years, but there's a strong team over there. I wanted to get into administration with other men and women that I could learn from and that I would grow being in their presence. So it's been a privilege working there, and one of the things that I appreciate most is just the rich history that Natrona County High School has.
Awesome. So how long have you all been in this field respectively, and if there's anything you want to add to that base question?
Excuse me, this is 36 years for me. Gosh, I'm trying to think of how break it down. I think this is 20 some as a principal, and the rest I was a teacher, and again I started in the special ed arena, but yeah, after 36 years, this is my last year. I'm going to retire and get to spend time with my family and grandkids. So I'm looking forward to it, but it's been a wonderful ride, and you get to work with great folks like these and students like you guys. So it's been very rewarding.
This is my 12th year being in education. So I taught for a year at UW as an adjunct lecturer, which was a blast, but it pays ridiculously bad. And then I was a teacher at NC for 5, and then I've been an administrator for 7. Mr. Estes has been in education almost as long as I've been alive, which is just, I don't know. It's interesting. You guys will get there in your respective fields, but then as people who are in the middle of our careers, I just cannot even fathom being in this for 36 years. Not because I don't like it, but it's just a lot, and that's a lot to think about. So again, Mr. Estes has done so much, and it makes me tired to think how tired he must be of giving it all, because it takes a lot to be in administration. It takes even more to be a teacher, and you guys give a lot too. So I'm in the middle of my career, and I've got at least 15 years more, and hopefully I can be a director and then maybe move on somewhere different in the field of education.
I've been in education for 16 years now. 14 of those years were in a CTE classroom. So I started off at Dean Morgan, actually working for Mr. Estes. He's my evaluator. Did 3 years there, and I did a year at Transitions, and then 10 years at Kelly Walsh High School. So it's my second year in administration at Natrona.
Is there anything the three of you would like to add before we wrap this up?
The only thing I'd like to say is keep up the good work. I think NCTV is a great opportunity for you guys, and I'm glad that you're here at Pathways. I think this.
I would just like to take a moment and say that I love this field. I don't get CTE. I don't think like a guy like that. When people are like, "You're gonna build a shed," I don't understand how it works. I know there's phases to that, so I appreciate the production side of this. I love movies. Part of what I did when I was teaching was film analysis, and I just appreciate that you guys are in this field, and I hope you stay in it and continue to do really good things. And those of you who go into the horror genre, no slasher films. They're ridiculous. Make it scary. Make it scary, not just blood everywhere. It's just a pain to watch that. Yeah.
You know, my colleague Christopher already alluded to this, but Ron, we really appreciate you, and we consider you a mentor. You know, I mentioned that I worked for you early in my career, and as I've progressed up through the ranks, we've always looked at you as kind of the OGAP, that's original gangster assistant principal. So, you know, it's a pleasure working with you and also following in your footsteps. So thank you for being a good role model for us.
Appreciate that. Means a lot.
I think along with what Mr. Dow said, I can speak for the students in this room. We do appreciate your support, and thank you for the 36 years that you've spent helping this community. We really appreciate it, and I think I can speak for all of us here that when we say we really hope you can enjoy your retirement.
Thank you.
The rest of your life.
Wonderful.
And you too as well. Thank you for what you guys have done and will continue to do for the students in this community and this community as a whole. We appreciate it. So
Thank you.
that'll wrap that up. Next is some more facts, apparently, with the Fax Man. So let's check that out.
Hi, I'm the Fax Man, and here's the facts. The toenail of your little toe is called the spungle. This is a true fact. It is not fictional or made up. Back to you, Janet.
I feel so enlightened.
Thank you, Fax Man.
Next up, an interview with Dan Itzen, also as the district attorney.
Elderly abuse is becoming an increasing problem in our society. From an attack that happened in our very own hometown, NCTV wanted to show the ignorance of the suspects who allegedly commit these types of crimes.
Our role as district attorneys are to take cases that are brought to us by law enforcement and make a charging decision first and foremost. That entails determining if there was a crime committed and if this was the person that committed the crime. I think one of the growing trends that we see right now in criminal law is the abuse of the elderly, and not only physical abuse, but it also comes as a financial aspect of it as well. Folks draining bank accounts, doing those things against vulnerable adults, and I think you're going to continue to see that grow as the baby boomer generation gets older. And unfortunately, they're becoming more susceptible to victimization. Wyoming has passed some laws in the recent past to kind of start to address that. But frankly, we probably need some more laws in that area to help address that issue. Oftentimes, especially in domestic violence situations, the victims may not want to press charges. They're in a cycle of a relationship that they're being abused, and one way that they feel the abuse will stop is if they drop the charges or do those things. It is actually the state of Wyoming who prosecutes criminal conduct. So as a result, the ultimate decision is up to this office if we prosecute or don't prosecute. Assault and battery is a misdemeanor charge, punishable by 6 months, $750. Aggravated assault is kind of akin to that. That's a felony charge, punishable by 10 years, $10,000. The big difference between the two is, one, if there is a weapon used. Secondly, the severity of the injuries to the victim.
Elder abuse is really getting old. Thank you to the District Attorney Dan Itzen for discussing with us about this horrifying type of crime. I'm Sarah Carrico with NCTV, signing off.
Special thanks to all who came on today.
We're going to miss you, Estes and Mr. Dresang.
Well, I'm afraid we're out of time. I'm Maine Foley.
I'm Gavin Bauer.
And it's time for a throwback.